Yes, thank you so much for joining us again on another exciting upgrade Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you doing? How was your week? What did you do this week? Yes, what did you do this week? What were the challenges you faced? What were the learning points you had? This is the upgrade live mastery just for you with Mr. Upgrade. And we do this every Fridays from 7 p.m. to the 8 p.m. I'll basically just get to share our experiences of the week, the things we learned, the challenges we faced, what's stood out for us, and all of that, right? So we just get to unwind and relax and then get ourselves ready for the new week. So this technically is the last Friday in the month of June. Yes, the last Friday in the month of June. How has it been for you the whole month of June, basically? What's been happening with you in this month of June? What have you done? What has stood out for you? What challenges you had faced? Have you been able to overcome them? What was the month of June like for you? This last Friday, by the next time we hear, will be in July, right? So, how's June been for you? In one word, tell me how the month of June has been for you. In one word, what that thing that just resonates for you that you look back and like, wow, June has been amazing. June has been phenomenal. These are the gifts I got in June. These are the surprises I had in June. The year is running, right? The year is just it's just going. We're getting the 6th month is technically over, and then we're getting into the 7th month. What has it been like for you in 2024? How are your plans? How are your goals? Where are you now with the things that you said you were going to do this year, right? Anyways, enough about me. Tell me, how was your week? This month of June has been interesting, um, challenging, educative, and more and more experiences with God, learning more to trust His leading, to follow His guidance, and all of that. So it has just been an amazing month for me so far. What about you? How has June been for you? Right? How has June been for you? What are the things that have stood out for you? What are the things that have made you really like, wow, I have enjoyed this month? That's really been an amazing month so far. What's it been like for you in June? Right? Now, this week, as always, we get to take a review of all our learnings from the week. And this week was interesting because we delved into something quite unique and quite revolutionary, right? Something quite expository, right? Something quite different from the usual, right? We went into something very important that we believe it's very critical for us to begin to consider, right? So, we start off the week by talking about where to put your hope, right? Where to put your hope. A lot of people put their hope in so many things. So it's important that you know where to put your hope because the truth is this everyone needs hope. Everyone needs hope, but you need to know where you put your hope. That's what we started out the week with in the conversation on our belief system, which we always share from Monday through Friday. So we started this week by sharing about where to put your hope. And we said everyone has where they put their hope on, but the best place to put your hope is on God, right? Everyone have where they put their hope on, no doubt. But the best place to put your hope is on God. And we said scripture tells us in the ancient text that thus said the Lord, cursed be the man that trusts in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. For he shall be like the hill in the desert, and shall not see when good come, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. For blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, whose hope the Lord is. He shall be like a tree planted by the waters and spread out his roots by the river, and shall not see when heat comes, but her leaf shall be green, and she shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruits. Literally, the one who puts hope on God is always flourishing in every season. So, what better place to put hope rather than God? We went on to say three simple places to put your hope. Three simple places where to put your hope. Number one, God. Number two, the Word. Number three, the Holy Spirit. In summary, God. Put your hope on God. Right? You know, the Father, the Son, the Spirit, right? Three ways to put your hope: on the Father, on the Son, on the Spirit. The three in one God, right? Now, disappointment often comes when you put your hope in places where you should never put your hope. That's when you get disappointed. When you put your hope in places where you should never put your hope, you always be disappointed. See, it is easier to continue to have hope against hope when you put your hope in where it should be. So you want to be like Abraham in Romans chapter 4, who against hope had hope. It is when you put your hope where your hope should be. And that hope should be on God. See, scripture says that blessed is the man who trusted in the Lord, whose hope the Lord is. He says, shall not see when heat comes. In the year of drought, it will still be yielding fruit. See, hope always makes life, because where there is hope, there is life. And I tell this always, man is but man. Even the best of man is still man. Right? So never put your hope in man. Man will disappoint you. Like they say in local parlance, man would stain your white, will bleach your black. Right? Never put hope in man, but you can put hope in God, because it's God that knows how to use man to help you. I always say this: all help comes from God through man to you. Right? Regardless of what happens, where to put your hope must always be on God. Regardless of what happens, where to put your hope must always be on God. So that's how we started the week. We talked about where to put your hope, right? So regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what you're facing, regardless of the challenges, regardless of the difficulty, where to put your hope is always on God, right? So we went off of that conversation, and then we had to discuss something important, which is when things fall apart. So you see, even after you put your hope, right? You put your hope on God, and things still don't go as planned. Things fall apart. What do you do? What do you do? And then we have to talk about that conversation when things fall apart. We said sometimes things fall apart, but you must maintain your stand and keep moving. When things fall apart, you must learn to maintain your stand and keep moving. So you see, in the ancient text, while the children of Israel could not wait anymore for Moses to come down from the mountain, they called Aaron and they gave him their gold and they asked him to make a golden calf. When Moses came down, he saw that the people were worshiping the golden calf. Moses was upset. He threw down the 10 commandments he had just gotten from God, and it got broken. Right? Now, things fell apart for the children of Israel, and Moses lost his temper, broke the 10 commandments that God had given him on the mountain. You see, three simple things to do when things fall apart. Number one, don't take it personal. Right? So when things fall apart, don't blame yourself. Don't take it personal. Don't say, oh, it's because of me. Oh, no. Don't take it personal. Number two, remember why you started. So now that things are falling apart, it's okay, but remember why you started, because that's the only thing that will help you to pick yourself back up and continue. And then number three, maintain composure and steeze. Don't lose your steeze. Maintain composure and move on. Right? When things fall apart, maintain composure and steeze and move on. Right? You see, when things fall apart, don't allow yourself to also fall apart. because things fall apart. Instead, stand strong. Right? When things fall apart, don't allow yourself to also just fall apart because things fall apart. Instead, stand strong. Sometimes things may be out of your control when they fall apart, but it is in your control to not fall apart. Did you get that? Sometimes things may be out of your control and they fell apart, right? But it is in your control that you do not fall apart. Things fall apart, but you should not fall apart. You must find a way for you to remain standing and strong and keep moving on, right? You may have done all your best and things still fell apart. Nevertheless, you must take heart and continue moving forward, right? You see, things can fall apart, but you must ensure you don't let the pain to consume you. And then we'll wrap up that conversation by saying things fall apart and the center can no longer hold, but you can hold things falling apart. You can hold them so it doesn't fall apart. Right? So we built on from this and we went on to the next conversation to develop audacity. Now things are falling apart and you're holding on. You need audacity to continue. And then we went to that conversation on develop audacity. Right? Develop audacity. And this is what we said. We said that life favors those with audacity. Life favors those with audacity. Hence, you must develop audacity to enjoy life's favor. See, in the ancient text, David had developed audacity when he was taking care of his father's sheep. It was audacity that he had that made him confront the lion and the bear, right? It was audacity that he had. It was the same audacity that he had that made him tell King Saul what will be given to the man who kills Goliath. Audacity. You see, same audacity he had to train those men who came to meet him in the cave of Adullam that were in distress, that were in debt, and that were discontented. And they became mighty men. See, when you lack audacity, guess what? You cannot be an effective leader because your followers cannot see you afraid. People who have audacity developed are never scared, they are never intimidated, they are never afraid. This is why you must develop audacity. 3 reasons why you must develop audacity. Number 1, it helps you face your fears unapologetically. It helps you face your fears unapologetically. Number 2, it gives you unshakable confidence, right? When you have audacity, it gives you unshakable confidence. And number 3, it stands you out from the crowd. The person who has audacity is always standing out from the crowd. Now, see, no better way to combat your fears than to develop audacity. To combat your fears, you need to develop audacity. Remember this, audacity is simply having the courage to do what must be done when it should be done, regardless of how you feel. That is audacity. Understand this, that the one who has audacity will always lead those who lack audacity. See, audacity is a magnetic force that pulls and attracts people to you. People just fall in love with your audacity. It's a magnetic force that pulls and attracts people to you. And you see, when you develop audacity, guess what? You have more hope at greatness than when you lack audacity. So your hope at greatness increases when you have audacity, right? So we moved on from this conversation on audacity and we went to the next, which was become fearless. So we see how it's building gradually. right? It's building gradually. We talked about become fearless. And what did we say in become fearless? We said one thing that limits people from who they can be is fear. And once you become fearless, nothing can limit you. We say one thing that limits people from who they can be is fear. And once you become fearless, nothing can limit you. We went on to say that in the ancient text, Mordecai refused to bow down to Haman because he was fearless. It was the same fearlessness that made Mordecai expose the people who had planned to assassinate the king. And then it was recorded about him in the book of remembrance, right? Notice that it was the act of his fearlessness that was recorded for Mordecai in the book of remembrance. And when the king could not sleep and he asked for the book of remembrance, he went straight to what was written concerning Mordecai. And then he told Haman to do what Haman has suggested to be done for the man that the king chooses to honor. You see, sometimes if you are not fearless, life will treat you unfairly. So you must become fearless to be able to truly live out your true and full potential. See, if you're not fearless, life will treat you unfairly. That's just it. And why don't we say three simple reasons to be fearless? Number one, it helps you maintain audacity. When you are fearless, you are able to maintain audacity. Number two, it ensures you don't quit or settle for less. And number three, it is what you need to thrive in the world. To be able to thrive in this world, you need to be fearless. You need to be fearless. You see, when you become fearless, guess what? There is nothing you cannot face or tackle head on. Once you become fearless, there's nothing that you cannot face or tackle head on. And you see, the treasure you seek is always in the cave you fear to enter. So become fearless and get the treasure. Now you must remember this. You must become fearless because even life favors the bold and the fearless. Interestingly, life favors the bold and the fearless. So you must become fearless. And you see, until you become fearless, you will be afraid of people, places, and things that should be afraid of you. And finally, there are things you cannot do or achieve until you become fearless. No matter what it is, there are things you just cannot do or achieve until you become fearless. And then we went on from there and we went to the final conversation for the week, which is take risk. Take risk. And we said the best way to be safe is to take risk. When you take risk, you can be sure of safety. You see, in the ancient text, it was a risk for Abraham to take his son Isaac on a 3-day journey, knowing fully well that he was going to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. You can imagine what was going through Abraham's mind when Isaac eventually asked him a question. Father, we have the fire, we have the wood, where is the lamb? And knowing fully well that Isaac was the sacrificial lamb, Abraham told Isaac, the Lord will provide himself a lamb. See, guys, what risk could have been more knowing that your promised son of 25 years waiting is now going to be sacrificed by you? Yet, Abraham took the risk and he did not even tell Sarah, his wife. You see, it was the same risk that God took sacrificing his beloved son, Jesus, on the cross for the salvation of humanity. See this, guys. There are three simple reasons to take risk. Number one, it is audacious. Number two, it requires risk for progress, which means risk is required for progress. And number three, it helps guarantee the outcome. Right? You don't take risks, no outcome is guaranteed. So three simple reasons to take risks. Number one, it is audacious. Number two, it is required for progress. And number three, it helps guarantee outcome. See this, guys. Sometimes your inability and failure to take risks will make you a liability and a risk. Let that sink in. See this. Risk can inspire people. So learn to take risks, howbeit calculated risk. Risk can inspire people. So you must learn to take risks, or howbeit calculated risk. And you see, it is risky not to take a risk. And if you ever want to be safe, then you must take risk. I'll say this again. Take risk and trust me, you will never lose. You will either win or learn, but you will never lose. When you take risk, you never lose. You either win or you learn, but you never lose. And you see, the risk you don't take will eventually make you be seen as a risk to others. You get that? The risk you don't take will eventually make you be seen as a risk to others. Now, let's get into today's conversation on inspire. Right? We want to talk about inspire today. Right? And it's going to be a very interesting conversation because I really want us to ask questions as we talk along, right? Share your questions, drop it in the comment section so that we can just have a conversation on this talk. Like, let's just talk, right? Now, do people inspire you? Do you have people that inspire you? If you have people that inspire you, drop their name in the comment section so I know. Right? Do you have people that inspire you? Right? Do you think you inspire others too? Right? What exactly is inspire? That's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What exactly is inspire? Do you inspire people? Do people inspire you? What exactly is inspire? What exactly is it? Right? What exactly is inspire? Do you inspire people? Do people inspire you? Tell me. Right? Tell me. I want to know. Do you inspire people? Do people inspire you? Tell me. Because today we want to talk about inspire. We really want to see how people get inspired and they don't even know. Right? There's the saying that when you get people to be able to do more, have more, and be more, then you are a leader because you inspire them to be more, to have more, and to do more, then you are a leader. But how do you truly inspire? What is inspire about? You know, some people say, oh, this person inspires me. What does that actually mean? Oh, I'm inspired by this movie. What does that actually mean? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I really want to hear your perspective, your opinion on inspire, because we live in a world where we are being inspired by so many things. You watch a movie, you get inspired. You listen to a song, you get inspired. You hear a conversation, you get inspired, right? Things happen around you and you get inspired. You see some level of excellence and you get inspired. What exactly is inspired? Now, I'm going to say this. I believe that inspire is, how do I put this? Inspire is the feeling you have to be more for yourself. Simply put, the feeling you have to be more for yourself is what it is to inspire. So you see, when you go for that training, you go for that workshop, you go for that seminar, and then the speakers are talking, you suddenly have this feeling to want to be more for yourself. You have been inspired. right? So the word inspire, INSPIRE, what does it actually represent? That's what we're going to look into in this conversation. So feel free to ask your questions, right? Whatever comes to your mind that you want to ask, feel free to ask your questions. And please put some fire in the comment section so I know that you're here and you're watching this. And please feel free to share this, right? Copy the link, share to your friends, share on your WhatsApp group, share on your status. Let more people get to watch this so that they too can be inspired. It's absolutely the least that you can do, right? Just share, right? Copy the link, share everywhere, share far and wide, right? Just share so that people too can be inspired. So what does inspire actually mean, right? I already said earlier that it is that feeling to be more, that feeling to be more, that feeling that you can do more, that feeling that you can have more, that you can do more, that you can be more, right? Is what inspire is all about. But how does inspire happen, right? INSPIRE. How does inspire happen in everyday life? The I in inspire is influence. Let me tell you this, right? We live in a world where we are being influenced on a daily. We are being influenced on per second billing. We are being influenced, right? You watch TV, you are being influenced, right? You watch, you scroll on social media, you are being influenced, right? You listen to music, you're being influenced, right? You watch something on your phone, you're being influenced. So there's so many things that influence people. And the first thing when it comes to inspire is influence. Influence. And let me tell you this, one of the shocking things that you need to know about influence is whatever you can observe can influence you. Whatever you observe can influence you. So if you watch pornography, for instance, it can influence you. If you watch movies where there's so many sex scenes, it can influence you. If you watch movies where there are robberies and alcohol and drugs, it can influence you. Literally, whatever it is that you can observe, you can be influenced by. As long as you can observe it, it can influence you. It's that simple. So you see how easy influence can be. You observe some things, they influence you. So when you're scrolling on social media, it's not a mindless scroll. No. Whatever you are seeing as you scroll, as long as you observe it, it can influence you. It can influence you for good, it can influence you for evil. Right? You see that people watch movies about stealing, about theft, and they are inspired. So inspiration is not just only for good, even for evil. People are inspired to do evil. Why? Because inspiration or to inspire begins with influence. It begins with influence. So there are things that get to influence you just because you observed it, just because you paid attention to it, it can influence you. I know the interesting part about influence is that influence many times is subtle. So it's not going to drag you, it's not going to force you. No, 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 no. Influence is subtle. Influence is subtle. Notice when Eve had the conversation with the serpent, it was just a harmless, so to speak, harmless conversation. And the serpent told her, did God say you should not eat from that tree? I said, even God said we should not even touch it. Say, no, 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 no. God knows that the day you eat it, you'll be like him. See? Conversation, influence. And then scripture said about Eve that Eve saw that the tree was good to the eyes and it was able to make one wise. You see, because of the influence, she had now observed it more critically. And then she ate. See, there are no harmless conversations. Say no, it's just a harmless conversation. No, 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 no. That conversation can sow the seed for whatever it wants to happen in your life. That conversation. That conversation. So there's no harmless conversation, no, because that supposedly harmless conversation can influence you enough to sow the seed for whatever it wants to see produced in your life. So the I in inspire is influence. So you need to ask yourself, what are the things that I allow to influence me? Who are the people that I allow to influence me? What are the places that I allow to influence me? Those same people, places, and things that influence you, you are being inspired by. You're being inspired by. You say, oh no, but it doesn't count. No, it does count. Literally, it does count. Because you are being inspired by those things because they influence you. So whether it's for good or for evil, to inspire begins with influence. It begins with influence. Like I told you earlier, whatever you can observe can influence you. Whatever it is, as long as you can observe it, it can influence you. As long as you can observe it, it definitely can influence you. So the I in inspire is influence. Is influence. And you know, when you look around the world today, especially young people, you see how social media is playing a big role to influence them, a very huge role to influence them. They're seeing things on social media like, wow, when would this be me? Oh God, when? So they don't even know when they put their hand in all of the wrong things so that they can be like what they have been observing. It's influence. So they are drawing inspiration from that to say, oh, I want to make it, I want to hammer, I want to blow, which is okay in the sense of the world. But because they are seeing it on social media, because see, everybody on social media put their best feet forward. Nobody puts a side of them that they don't want the world to see on social media. No, they put their best feet forward. So you cannot judge a person's life by their social media. But guess what? That same social media is the number one factor that influences a lot of young people today. And that also inspires a lot of young people today. Say, oh, I've seen that person, I want to become. See, the beautiful thing about inspire is this. You can see the good and be inspired. You can also see the bad and be inspired. Literally. So inspire is neither good nor evil. It depends on what you have chosen to be inspired by. If you see only the good, you'll be inspired to do good. If you see only the evil, you'll be inspired to do evil. It depends on what you focus on that you are being inspired by. So inspiration is neither good nor bad. No, it depends on you, what you have chosen to focus on to inspire you. So the I in inspire is influence. It starts with influence. The N in inspire is navigate. You see, inspire will always help you navigate around life. It will help you navigate. It will help you navigate. It will help you to let go of some things and focus more on the things you want to focus on, whether good or bad. So whatever inspires you helps to put you on a navigation route to what you really want, whether it's good or bad. It just helps you navigate. So, you know, okay, let's say you're inspired by music, right? You're inspired by good music, right? So it helps you to navigate and you put your focus only on music and not on movies or any other form of entertainment, but just music. Why? So it helps you navigate away from other things and help you focus on just that thing that inspires you. So you look away from music, you look away from comedy, You look away from movies, look away from comedy, and just focus on music because it helps you navigate. So while other people are doing other things, because of what inspires you, you are only focused on the thing that truly inspires you. When people are talking about movies, you're not really interested. People are talking about comedy, you're not really interested. When people are talking about drama, you're not interested. But when they start music, you're all in. Why? Because it helps you to navigate. It helps you navigate. So anything that inspires you would also navigate you towards that thing, be it good, be it evil. So someone who is inspired by, let's say, young people now inspired by betting, right? They'll always navigate their way to go and bet, regardless of how hard things are for them. They always navigate their way. They always navigate their way. So inspire helps to navigate. So imagine if you're inspired by the right thing, it will also help you navigate towards only the right thing. Is it making sense? Right? So you must be intentional about what you allow to inspire you. You must be intentional because it will always navigate and take you where it wants you to go. To always navigate. So you see, you're always filled with that particular thought of the thing that inspires you. Why? Because the inspire navigates. It navigates. It takes you away from any other thing that's not in line with what inspires you. Sometimes when you're truly inspired about something, you don't even know when time flies. You don't even know whether you are hungry. Why? What you're inspired helps to navigate away from all of those other excesses. So the N in inspire is navigate. Now, the S in inspire is service. Service. Now, how does service come in? Very simple. Whatever inspires you puts you in the place where you serve. Whatever inspires you puts you in the place where you serve. So let's say, for instance, you're inspired by music. So it will put you in a place where you want to do anything for music. You want to serve, you want to learn, you want to be under people who can help you get better with your music. Why? Inspire helps you to serve. It helps you to serve. So you see people who truly are inspired, they are always people of service. They're always people of service. They're always looking for ways to contribute. They're always looking for ways to give back. They're always looking for ways to be part of what they are inspired by. And what other way to be part of it other than service? And remember, I've told us that service is the giving up of yourself faithfully towards the attainment of a goal without the expectation of reward. So when you are inspired, you engage in service towards what inspires you. You engage in service. And service is your own way of rendering contribution, your own way of giving back, your own way of being part of the system, being part of what inspires you. Service. So it's important that you understand this. So when next time you say, "Oh, I'm being inspired," is that the fruits of service by what you are inspired by? If not, you're not inspired. Because if you're inspired, there would be evidence of service. There will be evidence of service. Whatever inspires you will make you want to serve. That's the truth. Whatever inspires you will make you want to serve. There will always be that evidence of service. For whatever it is that inspires you, there will always be the evidence of service. Do you guys understand? It's very important that you know this. Very important you know this. right? It's very important that you know this because whatever inspires you initiates service. It initiates service, right? So the S in inspire is service, right? The I is influence. The N is navigate. The S is service. Now the P in inspire is possibility. Now, one of the major things that happen when you are inspired is the possibility that you now have. You see, one of the things that happens to people who are inspired is that they now begin to see how possible things are and things can be for them. Now, prior to when they were inspired, they probably felt, oh, they had so many limitations, they could not do it, it was challenging, it was difficult, it looked like it's never going to be possible for them. But the moment they are inspired, guess what happens to them? Possibility breaks in. They start to see how possible it is for them. They start to see how they have no limitations anymore. They start to see, oh, they can actually do it afraid. The thing that Inspire does for you is that it helps to fuel possibility in you. Something you have been taking, oh, this may never work, this may never work, this may be hard to pull off. When you are inspired, you see the possibility. You start to say, no, this can happen. We can make this work. We can pull this off. Why? Because there's the possibility that evokes in you when you are inspired. You see, when you inspire people, they begin to believe in themselves again. That's why they say motivational speakers, oh, they want to inspire, aspire to Maguire. No, 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 no. The truth of the matter is this: when truly one gets inspired, it unlocks possibility in that person. So you just suddenly realize that this is possible for me. Like, why do I believe that I can't do this in the first place? It's possible. I can do this. You know, when you watch some movies, some documentaries, right, it just make this feeling of possibility well up in you, right? Many times I recommend movies for people that I work with, right? I recommend movies for them. And when they watch those movies, they come back and like, wow, this is possible for me. They have just been inspired. Why? Because with everything that inspires you, it unlocks possibility for you. It unlocks possibility for you. So when you share your story, you share your testimony, someone else is inspired by it, and guess what happens to that person? That person's possibility is now unlocked. I guess I can go and do this. This person doesn't have two heads. I can do this. I can believe. I can push for more. I can reach out for more. I can go back and ask for more. Why? Because possibility has just been unlocked. But before that time, the person was timid. The person was feeling, no, it can never happen. But when the person is inspired, possibility is unlocked. So the P in inspire is possibility. Remember, I told you anything that you can observe, it can influence you. Anything that you can observe can also well up possibility in you. Can also well up possibility in you. You see, when the four lepers told themselves, why sit we here and die? That conversation, remember I told you people can be inspired from conversation. That conversation unlocked the possibility for them to say, let's go to the enemy's camp. Even if we go down, they kill us, it's better off than sitting here and die. And you know that story, 2 Kings chapter 7, as they walked towards the enemy's camp, God made the enemies to hear the sound of a marching army and the enemies fled. But that would never have happened if the possibility was not unlocked for them when they asked themselves the question, why sit we here and die? So you see, one of the things that happens to you when you are inspired is that possibilities unlocked. Whether it's through a conversation, whether it's through a movie, whether it's through music, whatever it is, it just unlocks possibility. That is the proof that you have been inspired. You just realize that, wow, we can charge more. Wow, we can do more. Wow, we can serve more. Possibility has been unlocked as you are inspired. You see, when you're listening to somebody speak that is inspiring for you, you're taking notes, you're writing down. Something is welling up in your spirit. You just know that this is me. This is something that I can do. Why? Possibility has just been unlocked. So the P in inspire is possibility. Now, the I in inspire, the second I in inspire is initiate. See, one of the true nature of someone that has been inspired is that that person initiates. So you're not inspired and you sit back. No, you get to do something. You get to initiate. No one is ever inspired and they go back and sit down and sleep. No, 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 no. Anyone who truly is inspired initiates, gets to work, gets to do something. Just like the 4 lepers in 2 Kings chapter 7 that said, why should we here and die? The moment they were inspired, they started to walk towards the enemy's camp. That was initiate. So if you said you have been truly inspired, you must get to do something. You need to initiate. That's the true proof of inspire. It initiates something in you. You now make the call. You now send the mail. You now get to reach out to the client. It initiates something in you if you're truly inspired. Otherwise, you remain as you've always been. But if you're truly inspired, something is initiated. You make a move. You take a step. Something is initiated. Except you're not inspired. But if you're inspired, something is initiated. You either make a call, you either send a text message, you either send an email, you either actually reach out to the person, you do a follow-up meeting. Something is initiated when you are inspired. So I would give us an example, right? I had a training a while back, sometime this year, and in the class, I told them that they should learn to show gratitude, right? And I think I've shared this before. I told them they should learn to show gratitude. It was a training. So I told them to send a text message to 3 people that I'll value in their life, right? Now, the reason they could do that is because of how I had communicated to them and they were inspired. And then they did it. In one of the classes I had, one person who sent a text to the person she had worked with since 2001. That's over 23 years ago. Since 2001. The person not only replied the text, but gifted her 50,000 naira on the spot. Now, that would not have happened if the person was not inspired and the person took initiative. Why there were some people in the class who did not send text? Because I was trying to teach them the power of 4 naira. Because in Nigeria, a text message is 4 naira. And to show them that with just 4 naira, you unlock gratitude in others. And the person did that. She initiated, and then she got the response. The boss replied and said, thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you and help you grow in your journey. And this is a gift of 50,000 naira. Now, that did not only happen in one time. Another training I was doing with another set of persons, I gave them the task again to do. I inspired them to show gratitude. And someone else did again. And guess what? This time, it was the husband who she sent text to as a gratitude. And the husband also sent her another 50,000 naira. Twice that had happened. Why am I saying this? When you get to be inspired, you initiate, you take initiative. You don't sit back and relax. No. When you sit back and relax because you were never inspired, when you are inspired, you take action. You do something. You do something when you're inspired. The disciples told the men that heard Peter speak at the day of Pentecost. Scripture says that they were pricked to their hearts in Acts chapter 3. They were pricked to their hearts. Sorry, in Acts chapter 1, I beg your pardon. In Acts chapter 1, when they heard the words that Peter had spoken, Scripture says they were pricked in their heart and they said, "What must we do? What must we do?" When you are inspired, there is initiative. You must initiate. You can't be inspired and be laid back. You can't be inspired and go to sleep. You can't be inspired and do nothing. It's not possible. There must be initiative when you are inspired. It's just like when scales fall off your eyes and you now suddenly can see. You want to do something. When you are inspired, you initiate. The eye, inspire, is initiate. Is this making sense? Are you learning something today? Are you seeing how it really is when you are inspired? The I is influence. The N is navigate. The S is service. The P is possibility. The I is initiate. And the R is risk. See, the truth is this. Any time you're inspired, your appetite for risk is increased. That's just the truth. Anytime you're inspired, your appetite for risk is increased. It looks like they turn up the volume for your risk. It increased. Suddenly you just feel like I can do more. I can be more. I can have more. Your appetite for risk just increased when you're inspired. So you never see someone who is inspired and is laid back and is not willing to want to take risk or want to dare. No, it's not possible. Because the true proof that you have been inspired is the risk you are not willing to take. So the R in inspire is risk. It puts you out there. It wants to make you do what you have never done before. It's a risk. Like I always tell people, risk is the new safe. You want to be safe, take risks. Because it is risky not to take a risk. So when something inspires you, it activates you to take risk. Now look at those 4 lepers. 2 Kings chapter 7. Look at those 4 lepers. They were lepers. But when they were inspired, they took the risk to start to walk towards the enemy's camp. Like they say in local parlance, all dying and die. All dying and die. But they took the risk. Remember Esther? If I perish, I perish. And I've always told us this. All those who say, if I perish, I perish, they never perish. If you look at that story, if the king had not sent for you and you come, he can order that you be beheaded. And if the king sent for you and you don't come, you can be dethroned. That's what happened to Vashti. The king sent for Vashti and Vashti didn't come. And that's how Vashti lost her throne. Esther understood the risk involved because she was inspired. She had prayed and she had fasted. Now she was inspired to go to the king and said, if I perish, I perish. And I always tell us, those who say, if I perish, they never perish. So the arrow in inspire is risk. Whatever inspires you to take risk. It inspires you to be more. It inspires you to do more. It inspires you to have more. It inspires you to take risk. Take risk. Take risk. You want to be safe? Take risk. Risk is the new safe. And when you are inspired, your appetite for risk is heightened, is increased. You are no longer risk averse. No, You're no longer risk averse. Now you can take risks because you're inspired. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. You see, when you watch football, probably first half the team is losing, and then they have the halftime talk with their coach, and then they come out for the second half. They're inspired to take more risks, and then they end up winning the match. Risk comes when you're inspired. And finally, the E in inspire is excellence. See, guys, average does not inspire anybody. Mediocrity doesn't inspire anybody. In fact, mediocrity, like I've always said, is an abuse of your ability. Mediocrity is an abuse of your ability. So, if you want to inspire people and you want your life to be inspiring, you have to be a person of excellence, because excellence inspires. When you see excellence, you are inspired. What do you think happens when people go to Dubai? They're inspired by the excellence in Dubai. You know, I often say this joke all the time that someone was called and said he had won a trip for 2 to Dubai. And then after a while, he called the organizers back and said, "Can I go twice?" Why? Because of how excellent Dubai is. Right? Dubai is like the hallmark for excellence if you are mentioning places in the world. Why? Because when you see excellence, it inspires you. No one is inspired by mediocrity. No one is inspired by average. No one. So if you really want to inspire, you must be excellent. You must do excellence. Scripture says that Daniel had an excellent spirit. That's why Daniel could stay for 4 different dispensations. The excellence of Daniel. See, you need to know this, guys. If truly you want to inspire, you must become excellent. You cannot be average. You cannot be mediocre. You cannot be let's say it goes. No, 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 no. How it goes should be upward and forward in excellence. So you must imbibe the culture of excellence, because excellence is learned. Excellence is learned. Excellence is not follow come. It is learned. The person who has excellence has learned, developed, cultivate, mastered excellence. And that excellence now inspires. So you see the excellence, you're like, wow, this is inspiring. Because excellence inspires. Excellence inspires. So this is what inspire is all about, guys. This is what inspire is all about. Influence, navigate, service, possibility, initiate, risk, excellence. This, my friends, is inspire. So you see, when we come up every Friday to share with you, to do the reviews, to help you to get yourself back again, it's because we come to inspire you. We come to let you know that it's possible. We come to help you unlock possibility for yourself. Because it's possible. Because it's possible. Don't settle for less. This is why we come to inspire you. Greatness is achievable for you. You can be more. You can have more. You can do more. Don't settle for less. This is why we come to inspire you. This is why we tell you that you should leave good behind to upgrade. Because it's possible. It is possible. Guys, this is it. This is what inspire is. And I hope that you've learned something on this conversation, right? Now we'll take a few questions if you have any before we call it a wrap for today, right? 1 hour is up, but we'll take a few questions. If you just 1 or 2 questions that you have, and then we'll call it a wrap for today. Thank you so much for being here from the beginning to the end. Thank you so much. Do well to share this with your friends, your family, even your loved ones, and even your enemies, right? Share with them. They too need to be inspired. They need to have a drop a taste of the upgrade effect. You need to. You need to. And if that's the only thing you can do for me outside of subscribing and turning on post notification, I will be truly, truly grateful. I'll be truly grateful to share this link to your friends, to your family, and even your loved ones, and even your enemies, right? Because they need to be inspired, because they can be more, they can have more, and they can do more. So they shouldn't settle for less. This will help inspire them to go back and do what needs to be done. Right. So, guys, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? If there are no questions, thank you so much. But if you come and watch the replay and you still have questions, that's fine. Put it in the comment section and we would respond to your questions on the comment section. That makes sense? All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Like we always tell you, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. So that's why we encourage you to always leave good behind so that you can upgrade. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.